this thing is affecting the entire South. It's currently 11 degrees with a -4 wind chill, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to go over some winter survival tips. I'm going to start with the clothes. A lot of people invest their money in canvas, Carhartt bib overalls, and camo coveralls. That's fine for temperatures that are around the 30s, 20s or 30s. That'll keep you from freezing. But in negative temperatures, you really need something with a polyester shell. So I would invest in a snowsuit or a ski suit and get one a little bit oversized because you want to dress in layers. And I wear fleece thermal base layers under mine. And if you can see, it's quilted and the inside is polyester, the outside is polyester. So if you're in any kind of precipitation, you're still going to be mostly dry in this. And I'm also wearing snow boots with an inner layer of insulation, and I'm also wearing thick socks that are intended to be worn around the house during the winter. They're just really thick. So these boots are just slightly oversized so that I can wear thicker socks inside of them. Another thing you want to invest in is a full head and neck covering. I think they call these gaiters or something. You want something that's going to cover your mouth, and I've cut a hole in the back of mine for my hair to go through. And thick fleece gloves. These probably aren't the best. You might want longer cuffs on your gloves that go up to your elbows. Those are actually better than these. But my hands aren't going to freeze with these on, not immediately anyway. Next thing I want to talk about is reducing the amount of space you have to heat and cool. I do this year-round. I separate my rooms with plastic so that if I want to restrict my heat to the kitchen or restrict it to the middle room, if I want to, I have a door in my bedroom, so I use the door to restrict the heat in there. But in this room, I use plastic because it's a large open space. This is my pantry. I have quite a few jars of homemade canned soup. It's homemade and it's home canned. And I have enough here that will last me probably most of the winter. I normally eat a pint of soup per sitting, so 1 quart is 2 meals for me. And I have them laid on their side in between bubble wrap. This is bubble wrap. This is going to protect the jars, and it's going to prevent them from rolling too much. And I'm using empty water bottles as spacers to prevent them from rolling and hitting this sidebar right here. And there's quite a bit of soup down there. But you get more storage space laying them on their side like this than you do by stacking them up. If you look at this, if you're stacking them one on top of the other, in this amount of space, I can only get 2 jars on top of each other per row. But if you look at this, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of jars here. So I've maximized my storage space. This is a Coleman propane outdoor camp oven and burner combination. And it's okay to use it inside the house. Anytime I have a few $100s extra, I invest in survival tools like this. I invest in propane appliances and other kind of technology to help me survive the heat or the cold. We have tornadoes in the spring and the fall that will knock out power just as much as a winter storm will. So this not only provides heat, it's an alternative cooking source. And I'll show you something else. I always use these gauges on my propane bottle so I don't have to guess how full or empty my tank is. I can always predict when this tank needs to be changed because it'll get into the red. These things are a recent acquisition, and I found out the hard way that you cannot put a water bath canner on top of one of these burners because those propane bottles will slip and fall over inside of those bases. So these things really are not stable. I have a Mr. Buddy Big Buddy heater that you can connect 2 big propane bottles to, or you can use 2 of the smaller bottles. This big floor heater is also propane, but I don't have it hooked up to a propane line. This is the other Mr. Buddy heater. I think it's the Little Buddy or something, but I keep this one in my bedroom in case the power goes out. It will get really hot in this tiny bedroom. And when I burn this in here, I have to keep the door open or I have to crack a window because of carbon monoxide. This is the smallest Mr. Buddy heater, Little Buddy, Junior Buddy, I don't know what they call it, but it's intended to be a tent heater. I use it in the bathroom in case the power goes out. It will heat this space pretty well. The downfall is one of those small propane bottles will only last for 5 hours. This one does not have a temperature adjustment. You turn it on or you turn it off and that's it. The little plastic base also is not stable. Just like the other propane heaters for the stove. This thing, I don't know why they built them like this, but that is so unstable. And that's what I don't like about them. But anyway, that's the... Oh, they call it the Mr. Heater. That's the name for it. This is on, this is off. There's no in between. Now I'm going to talk about electrical appliances and gadgets. I have a battery box here that is full of standard batteries and lithium-ion rechargeable batteries because some of your appliances are going to be rechargeable. And I prefer rechargeable appliances that have removable batteries to the ones that have built-in batteries, but you're going to need a way of keeping your batteries stored up. You need a way of charging your appliances. I have a big battery bank here that will charge my phone, and I can charge this inside of my truck also. This is a really neat gadget. It's a light, but it's also an FM radio. There's an antenna right here. There's a siren. There's the radio. You hit the scan button to find stations. I have to stand in front of the door to make it work, but it has a solar panel on the top, so it can be recharged with the sun. It can be recharged with a micro USB. It can charge a small powered device. I really wouldn't use this to charge a phone. That's what my battery bank is for. But here's what's unique about this. It has a magnet inside of it. And when you crank this, it's like the old-time hand crank gadgets that have a magnet and a copper coil on the inside, and you can charge it by turning this crank. So this is a real survival tool. This also has removable batteries in it, which is what I really like about it. And they are rechargeable batteries. So you don't have to recharge it with the cord. You can take the batteries out and put the batteries in a recharger. And I do have a battery charger for that. This is my lithium-ion battery charger. And it will charge any size battery. I don't think I have to preach about flashlights. At least I hope I don't. I like this one for several reasons. Number one, I can flip this head wherever I want. It's dual headed. It has two different buttons, one on either side. It uses rechargeable lithium-ion batteries, and there's the recharge port. It's a micro USB. It does have removable lithium-ion batteries. They're AAA's. They're inside one of these things. But it's versatile. You don't have to use lithium-ion batteries in it. I have standard batteries in it right now. It has a magnetic base. That's the other thing I like about it. I normally keep two of these on my Coleman camp stove to shine a light on what I'm cooking. And what I really like about it is that it has an SOS strobe. That's the red light. And there's the SOS mode. And it's pretty bright. There's the strobe. And then it's off. These are my favorite. You want to keep one in your vehicle. I keep two in the house. And I honestly cannot remember where I got these from. I'm a big fan of using electricity as long as you have it. This is something I keep in my truck because I DoorDash and sometimes I will eat in my truck. This is a soup pot and it's also good for steaming rice. It's good for reheating pretty much anything. And I keep plastic cutlery in here with a bottle of water, and the power cord is in a pocket on the other side of the bag. And I just keep this in my truck. And this is another gadget that I keep in my truck. This is great for heating up frozen burritos. It'll heat up anything from frozen or refrigerated. And I'll open this up and show you what it looks like. It comes with this little plastic box that you can put pre-cooked rice in. This isn't something you can cook rice in from scratch. That's the other one. That's the soup warmer that I just showed you. This one heats up pre-cooked rice. And this is a removable tray. And there's the heating element is underneath that other tray. I made up a whole bunch of these breakfast burritos a while back, and I keep them in the freezer, and I take out one Ziploc bag full and put it in the refrigerator. And I put the whole thing, full and all, inside of this lunchbox, and I plug it into my truck, and while my truck is running, this thing is heating up. It takes about 30 minutes for it to get hot, but it will heat a burrito all the way through. Before you heat anything inside of it, you want to remove this little rubber stopper so it doesn't get steam trapped inside of it. It'll make your food soggy. Consider this thing to be something like a microwave. It's a food warmer. It's not as fast as a microwave, but it doesn't use as much power either. And your food will get really hot. You can probably bake a potato in it. You can definitely heat up burritos. You can, maybe if you get one of those tiny personal pan pizzas or a small breakfast pizza, cut it up and put it in here. You might have to stack it. Hot Pockets, definitely. It'll heat up a Hot Pocket. It'll heat up pizza pockets. So there's a lot you can heat with this. This is something I keep in my truck all the time for my breakfast burritos along with my soup pot. There are 3 more small space electric gadgets I want to introduce you to. The first one is this collapsible water kettle. Don't boil anything in it but water. I mean, I suppose you could use it to heat milk for a baby bottle, but honestly, it gets really hot. It does get up to boiling temperature. So I don't recommend using it to scald milk. It only has an on and off, and it goes up to boiling. If you're trying to use it to scald milk, really keep an eye on it. But use it to boil water for tea or coffee. It's good for that. This is for ramen noodles. Don't try to boil soup in it. Don't try to boil stews. Don't try to boil beans. I tried that and everything sunk. If anything in the water is heavier than the water itself, it's going to sink to the bottom and burn. It's going to stick to the bottom of the pot. That's not what this was intended for. It was only intended to boil water, and anything you put in it has to be suspended in the water. So it's only good for maybe boiling pasta or boiling ramen noodles. That's actually what it was designed for. But since it has 2 settings, it does have a hard boil and a soft boil setting. I figured out that you can put hot dogs inside of a quart size Ziploc bag and then put the bag into the hot water and cook your hot dogs that way, and you won't have to worry about them falling to the bottom. Maybe you can cook sausage that way, like smoked sausage, whatever. Anything that you can boil in a bag, you can cook in this. And your ramen. And here's another gadget. This is a miniature electric skillet, and it's the only one I found that I like. I'm going to talk about the lid first. I had to put aluminum foil on the bottom of this plastic lid to make it a little more safe and to take up some space between the lid and the skillet. I really don't use it very much. It's good for cooking eggs. The skillet itself gets up to 350 degrees, so it will cook sausage patties, it will cook bacon, eggs, grilled cheese sandwiches, or a grilled meat and cheese sandwich, which I've done a lot of. It will not fry potatoes. Don't try it. Don't try to do hash browns with it. It doesn't get hot enough. You have to have a skillet that gets up to 450 degrees to fry potatoes. Sorry, but that's the way it is. Anything else that can be cooked or sauteed at 350 degrees is perfectly fine for that skillet. And if you want to cook eggs like sunny side up, that's what you need the lid for. The lid is going to trap some of that steam and help cook your eggs. Now I'm going to show you my survival bag and what I keep in it. Here are all of my electric appliances. I just bought a new truck that has a 110 plug in the cab, so I can keep this inside my truck ready to go whenever I need it. So if I ever get stranded due to bad road conditions or bad weather, I've got something to cook with. There's a zippered compartment here. This is what I keep my cutlery in. I have metal fork spoons, butter knives, 2 serving spoons, and 2 steak knives in here. But I mostly use plastic cutlery because if you're really in a survival situation, The less amount of water you use, the better. This little exterior pocket right here, I have some quart-sized bags in here in case I need to store something like Spam. If I cut Spam up, that's what this is. This is a Spam slicer. Every once in a while I like Spam. It's not bad. And I choose low sodium Spam because it does have a lot of salt in it. And in this compartment I have my salt and pepper shakers. That's a peppercorn shaker, and this is my Celtic sea salt shaker. I have a preference for Celtic sea salt because it's lower in sodium than every other variety of salt. And it tastes good, and it's got a crunch, and I just love it. And this is my peppercorn grinder. This is sugar. Instant coffee. These are some tea bags. Now I'm going to talk about survival food. This is real survival food. I'm not talking about the MREs. I'm talking about the stuff that we pretty much eat every day. This is what you need to actually survive. First things first, electrolytes. You're going to get dehydrated as fast in cold weather as you will in hot weather. And since I have a mineral deficiency because of inflammatory bowel disease, I buy these trace minerals. And it includes, let me get a magnifying glass. These trace minerals include magnesium, chloride, sodium, potassium, sulfate, lithium, and boron. Now, if you're allergic to sulfur, you might not be able to use it, but thankfully, I don't have a sulfur allergy. What I'm allergic to is high fructose corn syrup and artificial sweeteners. I can only have natural cane sugar or beet sugar. So if I ever get diabetes, I'm screwed. What I like to do is I buy this Tropical Punch drink mix at Walmart. It's made with natural cane sugar. And it has some vitamin C in it, and they've added calcium to it. So I take, it's 1 scoop per 12-ounce water bottle. And I purchased miniature water bottles, 2 cases of them that I keep in my truck. They're only 10 ounces, so it might be a little bit stout, but I'm sure I can handle it. And I add 10 drops of trace minerals to the punch. And this is what I drink every day. It encourages me to drink more water, and I get my electrolytes. When I'm at home, I'll mix up an entire gallon of this and fill up these big 12-ounce water bottles. But in my truck, I'm going to have to do something a little different. I'm going to have to mix it per bottle instead of per gallon. But this is going in my bug out bag. Okay, now I want to talk about sources of vitamin C and sources of sugar. One thing you always want in a bug out bag or emergency kit is raw honey. Not purified, not filtered. You want raw honey. This stuff is anti-everything. Antimicrobial, antifungal, antibiotic, and If you consume it, it does have some beneficial nutrients in it. It can keep you alive. It can also keep your blood pressure up. I have high blood pressure, but some people have low blood pressure. Some people have diabetes 1, and raw honey is a form of internal medicine for those people. If you're injured and you're going into shock, raw honey water will prevent you from going into shock, and it'll keep your blood pressure up. So it's as much medicinal as it is food, and it's a sugar source. Fruit. I do not recommend buying fresh raw fruit for an emergency situation. If you're in a winter storm like we are right now, don't buy raw fruit. It goes bad quickly. You're going to have to eat it up quickly. I DoorDash and I got several grocery orders, but I did not get a single order for canned soup. These people wanted steak and shrimp and fish, and one heifer wanted oysters, of all things. They're shopping like it's their last damn meal. And it's stupid, because if the power goes out, fish and seafood is going to spoil faster than anything else. If you still have power and your house is hot, the fruit's going to spoil before anything else does. Strawberries go faster than anything. I've seen strawberries molded inside the clamshell packages in the store. They don't last. So, I recommend fruit preserves, jams, and jellies if you want to eat fruit. That's what I recommend. And my personal favorite is Simply Fruit by Smucker's. It's very low sugar. There's no high fructose corn syrup in it. It does have grapefruit juice concentrate, which I can't have. Grape juice concentrate is in here. I hope they cooked it before they bottled it. It doesn't seem to bother me in moderation, but I'm allergic to apples and grapes in the raw form because there's too much fructose. I have a fructose malabsorption problem. And raw apples and raw green grapes have the highest concentration of fructose, and they literally make me sick. I cannot drink apple juice or grape juice at all. But I can drink wine, and I can eat hot apple pie. So go figure. If you cook the sugar out of it, it doesn't bother me so much. Another recommendation I have that is probably low in sugar but high in vitamin C is jellied cranberry sauce. This stuff is really good. It's more tart than preserves. And unfortunately, it has high fructose corn syrup in it, which, as I said, I'm allergic to it. But I'm going to look for a variety that doesn't have high fructose corn syrup. Even after you open the can, this stuff continues to stay fresh for a long time. So I recommend jellied cranberry sauce if you want to stock up on fruit. Don't buy fresh fruit unless you're buying oranges. That's the exception to your fresh fruit purchase. Oranges have a long shelf life, and I buy mandarins because they're really good. I can sit and eat a whole mandarin without a problem. I don't have to worry about them taking up the same amount of space as navel oranges. I'm trying to find a nutrition label on here, and there isn't one, but I know they're high in vitamin C. So this is something you can keep in your vehicle, keep them in the house. If you want to buy navel oranges or grapefruit, that's fine. Citrus is probably going to be your best bet in the fresh fruit category. Tomatoes and tomato soup are high sources of vitamin C. this is a good investment to make for survival. Buy a lot of tomato soup. Fresh tomatoes are one of the few fruits I recommend buying for survival because they don't have to be refrigerated and they're going to last quite a while. Invest in canned fruit instead of raw fruit. I can eat peaches and pineapples. Don't buy pie filling, just buy the fruit and make sure it's packed in water instead of high fructose corn syrup. The less sugar you're consuming, the better. I understand that people are buying up a lot of sweets right now because they're after a dopamine rush. And they're buying up salty food because they're after the endorphin rush. People who do that have been raised on junk food, and they don't understand that if they buy healthy food, their dopamine and endorphin level is going to be naturally high just because they're surviving and they're thriving and they're doing well. All of that junk food has empty calories and no nutritional value. It's loaded with sugar and salt, and honestly, you're just killing yourself. You're not going to survive on that kind of food. You're not going to thrive on it, that's for damn sure. I do recommend investing in canned vegetables. I don't have a lot of canned vegetables in my house because when I'm shopping for survival, I'm buying soups and stews that contain vegetables in them. So I'm not thinking about buying cans of vegetables separately or greens or anything like that. That's for everyday food. That isn't something I would necessarily buy for survival because when these canned vegetables are cooked, they usually have all of the nutrients cooked out of them. So honestly, to me, it's just more weight. It's more canned goods to pack up. It's more to have in your house. It's taking up space. And I really don't see the point when you can buy soups and stews with corn and green beans and peas and whatnot in them. Pumpkin puree, it's good for animals. If you have animals in the house, this is great for dogs and rabbits. If they have a sour stomach or they're having a digestive problem, you want to give them pumpkin puree because that's going to help them out. And it'll probably help out humans too. Buy the all-natural organic pumpkin puree that doesn't have any spices or sugar or anything in it. And if you want to eat it yourself, then you can add the spice and sugar to it and just eat it as is without making a pumpkin pie with it. You don't have to add eggs to the puree and make a pumpkin pie. You can just eat it as is. Sweet potatoes are a good source of nutrients, and they're also good for the digestive system. Look for them packed in the least amount of sugar possible. Okay, this can is just sweet potatoes, water, and sugar. That's it. There's 70 milligrams of sodium, there's dietary fiber, a little bit of protein, calcium, potassium, and iron. So yeah, sweet potatoes are a good source of nutrients. Let's see what's in this can of pumpkin. Good source of fiber, a little bit of iron, vitamin A, calcium, and potassium. And there's nothing in it but pure pumpkin. And let me clue y'all in on a little secret. Canned pumpkin actually isn't pumpkin, it's actually butternut squash. And when they add spices and stuff to it and cook it, it turns a rust orange color, and they're passing it off as pumpkin. Now, as for the corn, it contains a little bit of calcium, potassium, and a small amount of iron. The ingredients are corn, water, and salt. And the problem I have with most canned vegetables is they are really high in salt. There's 200 milligrams of sodium in this can. I've started seeking out low sodium or no salt added canned vegetables because I want to control my salt content. I'm supposed to be on a low sodium diet. You don't want to use up all of your drinking water for cooking and washing dishes, but I do recommend old-fashioned oats. Not the quick variety. The quick variety is fine, but it's always loaded with sugar. And at least if you're cooking old-fashioned oats, they have a higher nutrient content. There's no sodium, there's no added sugar. You control the sugar and salt that goes in your food. And if you want to add raw honey, if you want to add some canned fruit, you can. Let's see. There's a little bit of iron, there's calcium and potassium. So yeah, rolled oats for the win. My cereal choices are also healthy. I have bran flakes over here and Great Grains crunchy pecan over here, and I sweeten my cereal with raw honey, not sugar. I also have shelf-stable milk right here. Milk will keep, if it's cold outside, you're going to be able to keep milk cold. If you keep it outside in an ice chest, it'll be fine. One thing you definitely want to buy is cheese. And I have two different varieties here. I have mozzarella string cheese, and I have Kojak cheese sticks. These are great if you're eating anything beefy. Kojak goes great with beef. If you're eating anything else, like chicken or pork, mozzarella goes great with chicken and sausage. Think of pizza. And instead of chip dip that you find in the potato chip aisle, I opted for Philadelphia cream cheese in chive and onion and French onion flavors. These have a higher nutrient value, and they're made with real milk. So you're going to get the potassium and the phosphorus that you get with milk from this. You're not going to get any nutritional value out of the creamy spinach dip or bean dip or salsa or whatever. You might get some value out of salsa, but then again, how long is it going to last? It needs to be refrigerated. You'll have to keep it outside in an ice chest, which is fine, I suppose, but you need more than chips and dip. Let's see, the nutritional content is, it is a little high in sodium, but there's 2% calcium, and there's 15% vitamin A, low sugar, and it's 160 milligrams of sodium. It's a little high in sodium, but we need a little bit of sodium in our diet, but I'm not trying to overload myself on sodium. The cheese has 220 milligrams of calcium, so that's definitely going to be a source of calcium. You can buy other cheeses like cheddar, Gruyere. I personally love bread cheese. That stuff is my favorite cheese, but it's a little expensive. So I opted for cheaper varieties, and this stuff in sticks means that I don't have to grate it, I don't have to cut it, I can just eat it. Okay, let's talk about carbohydrates. Everyone else is buying taters and onions and bread, and I'm over here like, why? I understand buying taters because they do have a long shelf life, but it also takes a skillet that is 450 degrees to cook taters, or an oven at 450 to bake one. What if the power goes out? I better hope y'all have gas or propane if it does. If all y'all got to eat is taters, because you cannot eat those things raw. So my carbohydrate of choice is crackers. I have these that have everything bagel seasoning or whatnot on them. And let's see, I think they're whole wheat. Okay, yeah. Wheat flour, niacin, iron, thiamine, riboflavin, cane sugar. So there's no high fructose corn syrup in it. It has poppy seeds, sesame seeds, rolled oats, sea salt, oat fiber, wheat gluten. Now, if you're gluten sensitive, you can't eat this stuff. You have to go for the gluten-free stuff. But it has 3 grams of protein, 60 milligrams of calcium, 1.2 milligrams of iron. So these things are a good source of nutrition. And I purchased unsalted saltine crackers. I bought these crackers to eat with my soup, but peanut butter and jelly can also be eaten with crackers. Think about chicken salad or tuna salad. That can be eaten with crackers. Potted meat, y'all are so focused on bread. And the only thing you can make with bread, milk, and eggs is French toast. Y'all making lost bread. And that stuff is not going to last very long. That milk's going to sour pretty quick if you don't consume it really fast. The eggs are going to go bad within 2 weeks. What if this thing lasts a month? I remember we had an ice storm. We had 2 ice storms in Lindsay, Oklahoma. One of them was in 2001 that was really bad, and we had another one in 2009 that knocked out power for a month. It took them an entire 4 weeks to restore power. And if you didn't have an electric generator, you weren't storing groceries. Nobody was prepared for it. And they certainly weren't prepared for it to last as long as it did. People who did stock up on groceries, if they stocked up on perishables and they didn't think to buy an ice chest, they were starving after the first 2 weeks because they just were not prepared for it. So I've learned. I've experienced tornadoes. I've experienced power outages during thunderstorms, windstorms, sandstorms, ice storms, snow, you name it. I've been through everything except a damn hurricane or an avalanche. Y'all need to learn. So anyway, these unsalted saltine crackers, and the reason I choose unsalted is because I'm on a low sodium diet. I've already told y'all that. Soup is going to have sodium in it, so I'm not overloading my body with sodium by choosing this option. And there's a little bit of sodium in the crackers. There's 1 gram of protein, 0.7 milligrams of iron, no potassium. So yeah, these things have no nutritional value, but I'm not overloading my body with salt. And if all else fails, if all you have left to eat is crackers, then at least these are a more nutritious option. So I'm choosing nutrition over dopamine and endorphin rushes. You're going to need a healthy source of fat, and for that I recommend nuts. These are lightly salted. I know nuts are a little high, but invest in them anyway. These are smoked almonds, and the only sweet treat I bought myself were these toasted coconut cashews. These have a little bit of sweetness, but it's sweetness combined with nutrition, okay? They're not empty calories. But we all need a source of healthy fat, and nuts are a really good option for that. Now I want to look at sources of protein. Aside from the nuts, what I have here is a package of tuna, chicken salad, and it's in a savory dressing, and fajita seasoned chicken is a good option, and lemon pepper flavored chicken. And, okay, let's see, what's this? Applewood smoked chicken. And 2 more tunas. These pouches don't weigh very much. They take up very little space. They have a long shelf life. And any of these can be combined with mayonnaise and eaten with crackers. You don't need bread. Here's another protein source. Peanut butter. A good source of potassium would be almond butter. I've also seen cashew butter and pistachio butter. I know this stuff is a little pricey. I buy all natural peanut butter because I can't have anything with high fructose corn syrup in it. And anything with extra oil is also going to just turn my stomach because it's too rich. Jif and Peter Pan have sugar added to them. This one does not. There's only 2 grams of sugar per serving. And let's see. This is dry roasted peanuts and palm oil. That's probably palm fruit oil, not palm kernel oil. There is a difference. But there's no salt added to it. And there's no high fructose corn syrup. So it has 18 grams of fat per serving. That's per 2 tablespoons. 25 milligrams of sodium that's naturally occurring in the peanuts. And 2 grams of sugar, also naturally occurring. 7 grams of protein. 0.4 milligrams of iron. And 90 milligrams of potassium. Again, you don't need bread because you can eat crackers with peanut butter. And if I want, I can combine strawberry jelly with peanut butter on a cracker and eat it that way. You don't need bread, people. Now I'm going to go over my canned soup. And I'm not going to pull every can of soup out of this little box. I really have a variety here, and pretty much everything I've chosen has vegetables mixed in with it. This is smoked turkey and wild rice and white rice with vegetables. This is low sodium beef stew. This is broccoli, cheese, and potato soup. Let's see, what is it? Creamy chicken dumplings with vegetables. Garden vegetable. Another garden vegetable. Down here, there's chunky steak and taters. And another broccoli and cheese. There's hearty beef and barley with vegetables. Way down here, there's loaded baked potato with bacon. Right here is my reduced sodium Spam. I have canned roast beef. And canned pulled pork. And that entire box is going in my truck. There's 2 condiments that I have here. One is barbecue sauce and one is low sodium soy sauce. And you probably know why I chose the low sodium soy sauce. It's because I have to reduce my sodium intake. I got this for the ramen noodles. I'll show you those in a minute. And Jack Daniel's barbecue sauce. It's the only barbecue sauce I can eat. There is no high fructose corn syrup in this barbecue sauce. It's made with cane sugar, water, vinegar, tomato paste, molasses, tamarind, distilled vinegar, natural hickory smoke, salt, yellow mustard, cornstarch, pineapple concentrate, Jack Daniel's whiskey, dried garlic, spices, pectin, caramel color, and dried onion. That's it. It is completely natural barbecue sauce. It's the only barbecue sauce I can eat that doesn't make me sick. Anyway, that's in this little bottle. And this is soy sauce. These are both going in my bug out bag. I picked this out for a sweet snack, and they come in 2 smaller packages like this, which I think is great. These are not overly sweet. There's 25 grams of sugar, but there's no high fructose corn syrup in it. It's wheat flour, sugar, fructose, palm oil, non-fat dry milk powder, canola oil, hazelnut paste, cocoa, inulin, cornstarch, whey, dried whole eggs, sunflower lecithin, natural hazelnut flavor, salt, and vanilla extract. There's 4 grams of protein, 0.4 micrograms of vitamin D, 70 milligrams of calcium, 2.9 milligrams of iron, and 240 milligrams of potassium. So with that, I would say these are a lot healthier than Twinkies and Ding Dongs, okay? I'm not trying to say that you can't have anything sweet at all, but limit your sweet choices to things that are going to be a little more healthy than junk food. Now I want to talk about my winter tonic. Y'all aren't going to believe what I do. I take 1/4 of a yellow onion and 2 garlic cloves, grate them up really fine into a bowl, and then I pour the grated onions and garlic into a pint-size regular mouth mason jar. And I add to that a tablespoon of raw honey, a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar, and then I top it off with about 2 tablespoons of white distilled vinegar, and then I add water to it all the way up to the top, mix it up with a teaspoon, and then I put a lid on it, put it in the fridge. The vinegar and water takes the bite out of the onions and garlic, and every once in a while I take a sip of this juice. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to read this off for you. Onions reduce inflammation, boost immunity, manage blood pressure and cholesterol, promote gut health, contain an antioxidant called quercetin and vitamin C, antibacterial properties, fight E. coli and Staphylococcus aureus, regulates blood sugar, supports bone density and mineralization, and it aids in collagen production. Raw garlic contains allicin that boosts immunity, lowers blood pressure, lowers bad cholesterol. It kills bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. Raw honey is antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, promotes positive gut health, and helps sustain energy. Apple cider vinegar is antimicrobial, kills E. coli, breaks up kidney stones, slows carbohydrate digestion, promotes healthy gut health, lowers blood pressure, and bad cholesterol. And that's why I drink it. And you want to have this in your emergency storm kit because this is going to help you stay healthy. Okay, now I'm going to show you what's in my bug out bag or my emergency bag. I have my ramen pot here, my boiling kettle. My miniature skillet is right down here. You can barely see it. My Spam cutter. I don't like cutting it up by hand. My emergency radio and lantern. I have a measuring cup here in case I want to make tea. This is what I make it in. My peanut butter, aluminum foil. Now I'm going to put this inside of my ramen pot or my soup pot for easier cleanup. Here's my cashews. And I have my packets of protein right here. My cutlery is inside of the zippered pouch. I have a coffee mug right there. It's collapsible. My condiments are on this side. My mayonnaise, my jelly, my barbecue sauce. I made a last-minute decision to not include ramen because, as I stated earlier, you want to limit the amount of water you use for cooking and washing and reserve it for drinking. So the ramen is staying in the house. Right here's where I keep my water. And I don't think it's frozen. It might be. But anyway, the water stays in the truck. Canned food goes on top of the water behind the seat, and I have it positioned so the cans can't fall out. Okay, so here's my box of crackers and cheese and nuts and paper towels. I have house towels right here to dry off with in case I get wet. My emergency bag is right here. I have a blanket and pillow and a space bag under the seat. That's alcohol. I also have some that soapy water in that spray bottle right there under the seat. I keep my soup pot in front of the console. And I keep my food warmer right here in the passenger seat. I keep these things in my truck all the time. I use them almost daily. This is my drink carrier that I put my electrolyte Kool-Aid in. De-icer, a female urinal, first aid. So I've got Band-Aids, Bactine right here. Bug spray, hand sanitizer. This is a CPR mask. On this side, I have hand and foot warmers, an emergency poncho for rain, a first aid kit, my rain boots, my rain suit, plastic bags for covering the seat to prevent it from getting wet. This is an air mattress for my truck seat. And glass wipes. Right here I have toilet paper, icy hot, change, a nail kit. I need to get some more of these alcohol wipes. Another urinal. Kleenexes. sunglasses, and that's another thing I want to remind you about. You want to wear sunglasses in the snow because this snow will blind you, and I already have a headache from letting my dog out this morning. I just came back inside. I'm in my bedroom where it's a really small space and it's warm back here. First thing you want to do when you come inside is remove your outer layers and remove your boots. Put on some slippers and warm up. My snow boots are rubber and they do get cold. They might protect my skin from frostbite, but my feet are freezing. Something else I didn't get to show you while I was outside is I keep jumper cables and a tow strap in a toolbox in the bed of my truck. I keep it there at all times. I also have a snow brush and a scraper. It's one of those really long ones. So those items stay in the bed of my truck year round. I never take them out. Those are my tips for winter survival. I've been an urban survivalist all of my life, pretty much. I've endured hardship from the time I was 12 years old right up until now. Hardship is nothing unusual for me. I'm conditioned to it. I can survive almost any situation. I certainly have until now. So take it from me. Use my tips. Take my advice. Do what you can to stay warm. And I'll see you next time. Bye.